Hey YouTube, let's take a little look at... Hey YouTube, I'd like to talk about how Fusion 360 handles open pockets and some of the different settings that we have for dealing with open pockets. So what I've done is I've created a setup of this part, and I've also created a facing toolpath just so you don't have to watch that part of it. Now what I'd like to do is add some 2D adaptive contour moves. So I'm going to choose to do a 2D adaptive clearing operation. I'm going to go select a tool, and the tool that I'm going to use is out of the tutorial inch. I'm going to grab the tool number 2, the 3/4 inch flat. For my geometry, now here's the choice that you have for selections. We can click on a face, or we can click on an edge. And the purpose of this video is to show you that what you click on matters. So to start out with, I'm going to go ahead and click on that face. And right off the bat, I get kind of a visual cue that something isn't right. You can see that white circle that isn't shaded, and the shaded area shows us what Fusion 360 is going to machine. I'm not going to bother going through most of the heights. I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK and watch what we get for toolpath. So this is our first pocketing operation, or adaptive operation. And when we do that, we haven't roughed out any of the material yet. And what the cutter has chosen to do is it's plunged directly into the material. One of the things that adaptive clearing is known for is to never fully engage the cutter while it's making a cut. So if I were to come back and simulate this, turn our stock on, I'm going to switch it to a slightly different color, and I'm going to hit play. I'm going to skip past the facing operation, and notice what happened if I rewind this back. The cutter fully engages into the material. So it's going to come down in there, it's going to plunge in there at a rapid speed, and that's not going to be good. So by definition, for what adaptive clearing is trying to do, it's excessively violating the amount of step over that it's supposed to be able to do. So let's go take a look at how we can fix that. If I edit that operation and I go to my geometry tab, and this time if I throw that chain away and I select on the ring instead of the face, let's see if we get a different result. The first visual cue that I get is that entire thing is being machined, and you can see the tool is helixing into the cut this time, which is exactly what we're going to want. So again, if I go to the setup, turn the stock on, I'm going to hit play and skip to the next operation. Here you can see the tool is going to helix into the bottom rather than just plunging straight into where it thinks that there's no stock. So we'll go ahead and hit close on that. So when you click on faces, Fusion is looking at the total topology of the part, and it thinks that there's no solid body there, so it's okay just to plunge right in the center. So sometimes you're going to want to click on the edge versus the face. Let's look to see how Fusion deals with an open pocket now in the same way. So I'm going to do a 2D adaptive clearing. I'm going to use the same tool, and this time I'm going to go ahead and click on that face, and we'll hit OK. And things look kind of okay. You'll notice that it skips a big region across here. So let's go ahead and simulate that setup again. I'm going to turn on the stock, and I don't want to watch everything, so I'm just going to click on the 2D adaptive, which is going to take us to that point. I'm going to slow this down a little bit so we can see what's going on, and let's go ahead and hit play. So the cutter is coming in, and the first thing that you'll see is that it's going to do a rapid collision with the stock right there. It's taking a pretty hefty step over. By default, I should be taking 20% of this 3/4 tool, which is much less than, it looks like it's over half the tool it's engaged in right now. So that first pass wasn't so good. Let's see what the second pass looks like. Cutter's going to go down, and now it's taking that smaller step over, the smaller optimal load that we are hoping for. So let's go ahead and speed this up and watch what happens with the toolpath. So there you can see it starts to leave a strip of material, and for that one swath, it was really way over engaged again because it thought that there was nothing. Fusion thought there was nothing there because of that pocket that's underneath that, the through area right there. So again, the fix for this is to edit this. I could go to the geometry tab, throw away my chain, and if I click on the edge now, you'll see that this toolpath goes and extends all the way out to the stock. You can see the blue preview arrow goes outside and extends back to the stock. And when I click OK, and we simulate the setup, again, I'm going to click on the place where I want to start, turn the stock on, and hit the play button. Now we see no collisions with the stock, and it's doing the constant step over that we want, that adaptive toolpath is famous for. I'll speed it up, and we'll see that no longer does it skip that strip of material where there's a through pocket going through. So there's one more way you could deal with this, although I recommend you not do it this way. If I edit the toolpath, go back to the geometry and throw away the chain, again, I'm going to select on that face. But there's also this box we can check here called stock contours. And when I check that, you can see that it's going to extend the toolpath to the stock contour boundary. It's the same thing as clicking on the edge, except for in this case, I have to click on the checkbox. So this is a different way you can do it, although my favorite way is to still go ahead and click on the edges. Okay, so I'm going to accept that toolpath. So now what we have is we have that roughed out, the inside pocket, and we have the outside pocket roughed out, but we left some material. Let's go see how much we left. If I go to the passes, I left 20 and 20 on that one. And if I edit this one on the passes, I also left 20 thou and 20 thou. So let's use the 2D pocket to come back and clean that up. So I'm going to select 2D pocket. I'm going to go grab some geometry. Now in this case, I have some choices I can make again. I could click on the edges for both of these. And in fact, I'll do that for the very first one. Let's go adjust the heights. Let's hit OK and see what we get first. So here you can see that it helixes in. And this one maybe does a little bit extra material than what it needs to do. So instead, I'm going to edit this. Let's go to the geometry. Let's go to the heights tab. I'm sorry. I want to change, instead of cutting from the stock top, I want to change from selected contour. So in this case, I'm cutting from selected contour to selected contour. I'm going to leave 20 thousandths of an inch of material. I'm going to start 20 thou above that. And let's click OK. And see, now you can see it did a lot better here. It just ramped in. But it's still going across this bore, and it's also machining farther outside here than what it needs to do. So let's edit this pocket one more time. Go to the geometry. I'm going to throw away my selections, and this time I'm going to click on the faces instead. Go ahead and choose OK. And now you can see that it's not wasting as much time going across where that bore operation is, or way out to the very edges of the stock. So again, for the adaptives, it was more beneficial for me to click on the edges of the profile that I wanted to cut. And for the 2D pocket, it was more beneficial for me to click on the faces. So there's no one right answer. There's different situations where you'll click on an edge or a face to get different results. So I hope that helps to understand what Fusion is doing when it's clicking on different pieces of geometry and why you get different results. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you give me a thumbs down, let me know why. I'm not going to be mad, I promise. I just want to know what you didn't like about the video. And if you found this helpful, it'd be great if you'd subscribe. Thanks for watching.